Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to do a presentation about Beyond Language. And before I start with the presentation, what is EDX? So, EDX is a massive open online course website that partners with companies and universities to provide classes, degrees, and professional certificates. And it was founded by Harvard University and Massachusetts Institute of Technology in 2012. So, these are my contents. I know there are a lot of topics, and we're going to talk about a lot of topics actually. So, we have the question, what are the contextualization cues? So, they are actually more than grammar, more than you say, but how you say. So, that's important. We have like intonation, volume, eye gaze, body posture and gesture, timing and pacing, and also appearance like our clothing or our hairstyles. And why they matter? Because they actually carry a social meaning and they indicate politeness, emotion, identity, and intent. And misalignment causes misunderstanding even when grammar is correct. So even though your grammar is correct, the way you say it actually can change what you mean, and the person in front of you can understand a different topic, different thing, because the way you say it. And we have Gompers and cross-cultural miscommunication. So Gompers found that Indian English speakers in Britain face misinterpretations because they have a different accent. So it could be hard for them to be intelligible to British people. And British listeners perceive normal Indian intonation as rude, as we told. Like the way they speak can be perceived as rude or impolite. And misunderstandings came from cultural differences in cues. And they are not personalities, like they're not personal, because we know that different cultures have different gestures, intonations, and they may cause some misunderstandings. And these mismatches produce stereotypes and unintentional racism. So they may think like, oh, the way you speak, it sounds like an Indian accent, right? Then you may be like this, you may be like that, and these are stereotypes. And we don't want this in a classroom actually, because when we became a teacher, when we become a teacher, they may be different students from different cultures, and the way they speak to us can be differ from each other, and we should be aware of their differences and their cultures to communicate easily and to not be mad at anybody because they speak different. And then we have like, yeah, cues don't travel well because a way of speaking that works at home may clash at school. Maybe a teenager speaks like very casual in the classroom, but in the home, but in the classroom, if they speak to the teacher like that, it could be some, misunderstandings can be um rude, actually. And teen informal speech, like fine with friends, judged in academic context. And students carry communication rules from family, culture, and peer groups. So these are some of the topics, these are some of the examples that we need to consider before, making assumptions about a student like, okay, you are rude or you are not intelligent enough. Like, we have to consider these examples. And language socialization. So children learn cues by participating in daily life, not explicit teaching. So this is because there could be some misunderstandings in the classrooms. And what feels natural is actually learned in a community, like gaze rules, politeness strategies, or ways of responding to adults. They are all learned in a community, not in a classroom. I mean, a classroom can be a community as well, but we born and we first see our family, then our family friends, or a lot of adults, around us. So that's why we become who we are actually, and the way we communicate. Then we go to school and we learn different things, different topics, but our politeness or gaze rules or responding to adults has actually been shaped before we go to school. And then we have Delheim's communicative competence. So language competence equals grammar plus cultural appropriateness, and knowing how, when, and whom to speak is actually the key. And baby talk norms differ across cultures, and it shows that language socialization is culturally specific. So it could be specific, it could differ from different countries. Like in Turkey, we have this one, and in India, they have that one. The language socialization can differ. And then we have the indexicality. I don't know how to pronounce that, but cues point to social meaning. So same cue plus different meanings in different settings, like a hand gesture. Maybe a hand gesture can have different understanding. Like in the neighborhood, it could be like friendship, loyalty, but at school, it may seem like a gang sign and it could be a reason for a punishment. So hand gestures, the way you talk, your intonation, they can have different meanings in different environments. And implications for classroom. So multiple cultures intersect in one classroom, I guess. And students and teachers may have mismatched expectations, as we told. And misunderstandings can silence students or impact identity. So maybe a student could be like scared to talk because they know that they will be misunderstood from the teacher or from the classroom because they speak different and they came from the different culture. And small signals heavily shape participation and evaluation. So we need to actually consider about this. And when we have a classroom about like 20 people, maybe, we need to consider each person different from each other. We shouldn't be like, okay, all of the people here are the same. No, they're not. They came from a different family, they have different education levels, and they may have different cultures from different countries as well. So we shouldn't judge anybody as a teachers, and we should be considered about these differences. And we have this thing called hotspots. So moments where expected response doesn't happen, or intonation feels off, or eye contact norms clash, timing delays cause confusion, or these reveal hidden assumptions behind interaction. So these are hotspots, and they reveal hidden assumptions behind interaction. And bumper strategies for repair for hotspots. You should state your assumptions. Think about your assumptions before doing them and be explicit when giving instructions. Like like not saying you should do this. You have to say this person should done this to improve this and blah blah blah. Or address discrimination directly if there's happening a discrimination, and listen fully before judging. That's very important. And give additional time for processing. Maybe a child cannot think that fast, or their thinking level can differ. Maybe he should think like 5 minutes and the other person should think like 10 minutes. We should give them enough time for processing what we say. And why record and transcribe classroom talk? So it makes invisible cues visible, shows exact breakdown points, helps teachers reflect on their expectations, and helps students see how cues affect outcomes. And for the conclusion, so contextual cues are the invisible structure guiding interpretation, as we said, and culture differences in these cues can create unfair judgments about students, but we don't want that. And understanding cue mismatches prevents mislabeling students as rude or incompetent, and teachers who reflect on assumptions and make expectations explicit improve classroom communication. So as teachers, we shouldn't do both of these things, I mean, all of these things, I think. And awareness of these invisible systems supports more fair, confident student participation. And I think it is a very important topic to talk about because at the end of the day, at the end of the 4 years, maybe we're going to be teachers, right? So we should be very aware of these situations while interacting with our students. And thank you for listening.